Hey everyone, welcome to another exciting MacWhisperer live broadcast. I'm Frank, I'm your host today, and as always, it's amazing to have you with us. So let me ask you, you're struggling to manage spreadsheets? I'm struggling to say spreadsheets on your iPad? Feeling overwhelmed by endless rows of data? Or maybe you just want a better way to collaborate and organize information seamlessly? Well, once again, you're in the right place. Today we're diving deep into Apple's Numbers app on the iPad, exploring how to create, format, and analyze data with ease. Whether you're new to spreadsheets or looking to take your skills to the next level, this is the tool you're going to need to master. Stick around for Dylan's MacWhisperer power tip, a secret numbers shortcut that will supercharge your productivity. As always, we're going to have a smart guide. Today's is on numbers on your iPad specifically, your go-to reference for setting up, organizing, and managing spreadsheets like a pro. It's free as always, packed with expert tips, and available here on your live broadcast. Share it with friends and family. So, for the regulars, you live loungers, introduce yourself in the chat. Let us know where you're watching from. Drop a comment. Tell us what you're frustrated with having to do with spreadsheets and how we can help you. We're going to be mastering the app, of course. We're going to be making data management effortless. We're going to have that power tip and the Q&A, right? Guys, get your questions in there. We'll ask Dylan your toughest Apple questions live, so drop them in the chat. So now, without further ado, let's bring the man of the hour in, Dylan Stewart, the MacWhisperer.
Hey Frank, how you doing today?
Good to see you, Dylan, as always. I'm doing great.
Awesome. So I want to ask something special to the people that are watching. Hit that like button because we want to get this broadcast out to as many people as possible, and that like button is the easiest way to do it. So if you know you're going to get great value, you know you're going to learn something new, or you just love hanging with us, hit that like button so that we can put this out and make sure we get a nice big audience to learn this. And before I jump into anything, I just want to call out Manny.
Yeah.
Manny is awesome. Manny showed up on one of our lives in the very beginning when we started doing this, and he started interacting and jumping in and helping people out. And since then, he's become a member of the MacWhisperer Academy, which we'll talk about a little later on, and a really, really valuable member of these broadcasts. So when Manny said to me, "Hey Dylan, can you teach me how to use iPad, use numbers on the iPad?" My answer was, well, heck, I don't even know that I know how to use numbers on the iPad because it's just not something I generally do. But what came out of my mouth was, absolutely, Manny, no problem, I got you covered. So yes, I'm now a master of the numbers on the iPad. I've learned pretty much everything I can learn about it. I've got a ton of tools for you guys. We got a brand new, fresh smart guide for you. Most of the smart guides are built by my team. This one has my fingerprints all over it because I needed to make sure the things I learned were captured. Because it's hard to learn something new, right? Or is it? And it's also, numbers and spreadsheets are a complicated concept. So I wanted to make sure that we captured the concept as well as possible in the smart guide. So this smart guide's got Dylan's fingerprints all the hell over it. I'm really excited for what we're going to bring. Frank, anything you want to start us off with?
I'm realizing because I don't have my AirPods in that I'm getting an echo, so I'm going to be muting myself when speaking, just so you know. I see a lot of the regulars showing up today, and I happen to notice that my nephew's on today, which is exciting. Dominic, good to have him.
Nice.
All right, I'm going to take myself off mute. You let me know when that, or I'm going to put myself on mute. Spreadsheet. Let me know when you want the iPad up.
Go ahead and share us the iPad. Let's get started right on that. So the first question that we really have to talk about is, the hell is a spreadsheet? We know what a Word document is. We've all seen them, but what exactly is a spreadsheet and why is it important? Spreadsheets were invented very close after the first computers came out in the 70s and the 80s, and they were essentially used for accounting. They were used for math and creating an easy way for you to calculate sums without having to grab your pencil and figure it out on your own. You got an echo on me? That's weird. Uh-oh. I'm going to change over to AirPods. Let's see if that helps.
I got
Frank?
myself muted. I got myself muted. You should be all right.
Okay. All right. Well, hopefully that'll fix it. Still an echo on me. Let me know if that's the case. We'll have to deal with it. Echo, echo. Frank, you got any thoughts on that? I see it popping up here. You think you've solved it? I'm going to assume for the moment, it's like I'm in a tunnel. Oh, that's always fun. Let's switch back to my other microphone. All right, we're going to give it a try. We're going to hope that all works. And if not, you guys let me know. I'm here for you guys. So, spreadsheets were created for simple accounting. They were really a piece of the puzzle for doing easy math, for managing large chunks of data, for sorting, for organizing. And spreadsheets were these like rows of cells that went. Oh, I'm delayed. I'm hoping that we're good on the echo. Okay, I'm going to stop worrying about our echo. And spreadsheets were a really, really important piece of the ecosystem. Frank, now you got me doing it, of the ecosystem of technology. So it used to be something that you could only do with Microsoft Excel, but Apple has done this systematic thing where they have gone for every single app that Microsoft makes and created a free alternative. You don't want to use Microsoft Word? You can use Apple Pages. You don't want to use Microsoft PowerPoint? You can use Apple Keynote. And now, if you don't want to use Microsoft Excel, you can use Apple's Numbers. So we're going to get started and we're going to jump into Numbers here. You'll see it here on my iPad, kind of isolated. When you first open up Numbers, you're going to be given the option of, are you starting with a new spreadsheet, choosing from a template, or choosing from one of your recent items? As you can see here at the bottom, it's got a list of all of the recent spreadsheets that I've opened up on this device. But if it's not something I've opened up recently, I can hit this little button here, which will open up a sidebar. And the sidebar can allow you to go into your Dropbox account, your Google Drive account, or to go directly onto your desktop to get anything from your desktop and pull it right in. So there's a lot of ways that you really easily get into, there's my cancel button here. There's a lot of ways that you can really easily get into previously created documents. If you want to start a fresh document, you've got two basic options. The first option is that you can create a new one from scratch. Clicking the New Spreadsheet button, boom, I'm in a spreadsheet, just like that. To get back to your home screen, you click on the arrow in the upper left-hand corner, just like that. And now we end up back on the home screen. You can also use templates, and there's tons of templates. I'm going to click the Choose a Template option, and you'll see some of Apple's pre-created templates, including finance templates, daily schedules or calendars, businesses or invoice templates, education templates, and more. In most cases, there's tons and tons of options right here. But if you need a template that doesn't exist there, there's a great app called Templates, go figure, and they have a version for the for Numbers as well as a version for Pages and Keynote. I'm not paying for it yet because I don't need it, but I wanted to show you guys that if you're lacking the template you want, look at this app. Tons and tons and tons of templates. They're adding new ones all the time, and it can make it real easy for you to find the perfect template, whether it's a calendar or anything, without having to create it yourself. Back into Numbers. Don't get out of there. For what we're going to do, we're going to start with an empty template, and then I'm going to open up one of the sample templates I've been using. But we're going to start with a new spreadsheet right here. The way spreadsheets work is they're built out of two separate concepts. The first concept is called a column, and a column runs up and down. They're labeled by letters across the top. The second one is called a row, and the row runs left to right, and they're organized by numbers on the left-hand side. Where a column and a row meet is called a cell, C-E-L-L. So here, if we were numbering this cell, this would be cell D6. It's in column D, row 6. When you're working with the iPad, simply touching on any square is going to move you to that particular cell. In addition to that, if you see the little dots that you see around this, clicking on those dots will allow you to increase which cells you've selected. This will become important in a few minutes when we start talking about actual data, but it's important for you to know just how to navigate around. In addition to that, if you click on a column or a row, to the right side of the column, you'll see hash marks. Hash marks look like little quotation marks on the right side. And you can use those hash marks to make a column wider or thinner. You can also use them on a row to make a row taller or shorter. Generally, columns and rows will auto-size themselves based on the information that you've put inside of them. In addition to those pieces, you can also zoom in or out by using your two fingers and either spreading or pinching to get to the right size to see everything that you're looking at. When you're working on the iPad, it can be a little bit hard to see everything because the screen is not that large. So pinching and spreading became an absolute necessity for me while learning how to do this, how to use this app. I found myself in and out and pinching and spreading because the longer a document is, the harder it is to see it when it's small. We're going to talk a little bit about the tools that we see across the top, but we're going to start with the first tool on the top left corner that shouldn't even count as a tool. It says blank 4. We just created this document, so it is an unnamed document, and an unnamed document is known as blank, and there's a couple of other blanks, so it's blank number 4. But I'm never going to remember that this is blank number 4. So what you need to do to rename a document is click on the little arrow that you see to the right of the title and just choose where it says rename. So here I'm going to say Manny's example. And I'm going to hit the done button, and now our spreadsheet is saved and named as Manny's example. Where does it save it, Frank? How are we ever going to find it? Well, the nice thing about Apple and the iPad is that it's automatically built into iCloud. So unless you do something odd or don't have iCloud turned on, which some people don't, it's automatically saving into a folder called Numbers inside of your iPad and inside of your iCloud drive. You can put it anywhere you want, but when you're working on the iPad, you don't have access to all these other files, so it's easiest to leave it there. And if you're going to use it on another device, then I would sort it out. My screen thing is a little wobbly here. Let's talk about the tools that we see across the top here. There's several of them. We're going to start with the first one. This tool can allow you to change the way your table looks. For reference, a spreadsheet is called a table. So they're talking about the whole thing here, and you can see different designs and different styles. And if I click one of them, I'm going to click this green one here, it's going to immediately add that table down here, making it exactly the style that we've got and allowing me to add other information. I'm going to undo that by clicking the undo button up on the top here. We'll talk more about that in a moment. Moving one over to the right, not that button. Moving one over to the right, you can easily create two-dimensional or three-dimensional charts. They can be pie graphs, they can be bar charts. It takes the data from particular columns, cells, or tables that you've created, and it uses it to build your information. We're not going to be building a chart today, but if you want to use charts or bar graphs, that's the button to go explore it. To the right of that, we've got the ability to add shapes. The shape option is really valuable, except in Numbers, I don't need it that much because I'm dealing with data more than I'm dealing with graphics. But if you want to add a particular shape, a particular symbol, something inside of your document, here's where you're going to find all of those symbols. To the right of that, we've got our media controls. And the media controls can allow you to add a photo or a video, create one using Image Playground, take one with your camera, record audio, add video, add a drawing, or more. There's all sorts of tools that exist here, and because we've got the iPad with the pencil, we can also draw right on the screen in order to draw an image, annotate something, or even make a drawing using the Image Playground. Again, I'm not going to play so much with that because I think it's a little higher level, and the basics of spreadsheets are enough for us for today. We're going to keep moving over to our right here. Here we've got our share button. We'll talk more about that later. This is where you print, export, share, and collaborate. There's all sorts of options here in order for you to save your document somewhere or send it to someone. To the right of that, we've got our undo button, which you've already seen me use once. If you are ever curious, you should really look at every app has an undo button somewhere, and it's very, very helpful because in learning to use the iPad, I made mistakes regularly. I made all sorts of things that were a mess, and I was constantly hitting that back button, so it's good to know it's there. To the right of that, we've got the format paintbrush. And the format paintbrush is really important. We're going to talk a lot about it in a couple of moments. It's how you control the text, the font, the size, the style, the way things look, the way things print. It's got a ton of tools. We won't dig through all of them, but we'll touch on them. Moving one more over to the right. Let's get that in the right place here. So little power tip for you. This comes a little early. In the upper left-hand corner of your screen is a small blue circle. Tapping on that blue circle will select your entire document. So you can't see it, but I've done it. You can kind of see the blue dots around the edges. With that clicked, I'm going to click on this tool on the right side here. This gives you options to create categories to organize your data, sort your data, which we'll talk more about, or filter your data so you only see what you want to see. All those tools are very advanced but very important for spreadsheets. Coming over to our three dots on the far right side, we've got a couple of basic options. I'm going to take a quick stop in the settings section. You'll also find the find section and the customized toolbar. So if you're never going to use charts, you should probably open up the customized toolbar and adjust it for the things that you do more. Coming back into settings here, I'm going to click on the settings option, mostly to talk about two quick things. The first thing is there are guides that you see up at the top, and when you're moving things around, these guides can help you align stuff. They're really helpful. I tend to turn all three of them on so I don't end up putting something outside of the printable area and so that things don't end up uncentered or out of space. You've also got options for auto correction. I can't stand it when I type in an email address and it makes it linkable. This is especially problematic on the iPad because I'm using my fat fingers and I'm trying to select that person's information. I'm not trying to send them an email. So I have a tendency to turn off web and email links so that they don't auto-create linkable space there. I can always turn them on later. Oh, I didn't want to leave it. Hit the wrong button. Coming a little further down, there's two things I want to talk about that have to do with the pencil. The thing about the iPad, and I've had a lot of conversations recently about the iPad, I think the iPad is a great device. I just don't think it's a replacement for a computer. I think it's just too stunted. It's got too many missing pieces. My favorite thing about the iPad is this guy, the pencil, because the pencil allows you to draw easily. If you've got fat fingers, you can use it to move around. It gives you something even better than what you have on the computer, because on the computer you've got a mouse or a trackpad. Here I've got this fine pointed device that I can use to select anything I want. But because the pen is meant for writing, in numbers, the default is where it says select and scroll. Both of these things are turned off. What that means is if I use my pencil to try and move around, instead it draws, which is annoying because that is not what I want to do. Let's hit that undo button there. We're going to go back into settings. If you turn on these two buttons here, it will allow you to use the pencil instead of your finger, and the double tap to switch means when you've got a pencil, there's a flat side to it. If you touch the flat side twice, it will shift from drawing mode into selection mode. If you're never going to draw on it, leave that one off. But if you want to do both drawing and moving with it, both of these should be selected. And I'm going to count that as another power tip because I found that out the hard way trying to figure out how to use the pencil with no directions whatsoever. So those are the settings. The only other thing to pay attention to is this icon on the far right side, which shows a little eyeball. This is called the preview. So right now we have a blank document. It really doesn't make any sense, but when you click that preview, it takes you out of editing mode and it shows you a finalized version of your current spreadsheet. You can't edit it, you can't click on anything, it's just showing you. To get out of the view mode, you're going to click the edit button in the upper right hand corner, which is going to bring me into one other setting. Inside of settings, there's an option that says open in edit view. If you don't have that turned on, when you first open up a spreadsheet, it's not clickable. Why is that a default? I wanted to work on this spreadsheet. I wasn't like doing it for my health. I imagine that because a lot of people are viewing spreadsheets rather than working on them, they made that the default, but I strongly recommend change that setting. Set it to open in edit view so as soon as you get into the document, you can start working on it. So in just a moment, we're going to come back. We're going to talk about format. We're going to talk about formulas, which are calculations that we can do, and a couple of other tricks. But Frank, let's step back for just a moment and let's talk about our YouTube membership.
I'll take a chance and start speaking with you, see if there's any problems. Shouldn't be any echo. So far, so good. It looks like we have a new member.
Nice. Welcome, Bill.
Good time.
Glad to have you here. Absolutely.
Yeah, let's talk about YouTube membership. It continues to grow and too much fun.
So this is you've heard, if you've been on these calls a lot, you've heard me say essentially the same thing for months. I'm going to say something a little bit different this time. There are a lot of ways for you to support what we're doing. There's a lot of ways. You can give us what they call a super thanks for any video we put out on YouTube. We've got a Patreon account that you can tap into. There's a whole lot of options, but we're focusing on the YouTube membership experience for a couple of reasons. The first one is it gives us an ability to connect with our members. I can see who our members are. I've got Bonnie, I've got Manny, I've got Bill, who's our new member. He just squeaked in. He gets a mention just for showing up today, right? I've got Writer Coach Corner with RCT Les Misna. It's a long name, Ryder. I'm going to have to shortcut it. I can see who members are. They pop out to me either when you're commenting on my videos or when we're in a live broadcast like this. But I love meeting members. So I'm going to be having a monthly members only live every month. And if enough people start to come and show up, I might do it twice a month. I don't care. I love hanging with you guys. Any level of membership from 99 cents a month up to our $20 a month. Thank you for those of you who are at the $20 a month. It makes a really, really big difference. Gets access to the members only live broadcast. But there's two other things that are coming up. And the first thing is we are rapidly approaching releasing our smart guides to members at the $10 and $20 level. Yes, you can come onto a live broadcast and get a smart guide, but we're going to take it to the next level where we're going to deliver our smart guides to your email box on a weekly basis for the $10 members, and we're going to give the $20 members access to the entire library. And for clarity, we're not just dabbling with these smart guides. We're building 3 or 4 a week right now. We're in rapid production mode on all sorts of topics that make it easy for you to learn things without listening to me babble on a YouTube video. Although some of you like listening to me babble and I like babbling, so do both. The higher level memberships, the $10 and $20 memberships are the only ones that'll get that access. Now here's the other thing that I'm opening up. Starting later today, I'm going to put a post up for members to find out what videos you want me to make next. I've got a list of about 25 YouTube videos I'm planning on making, but I will prioritize a member suggested video if enough people want it and like it. You guys are helping support me. I want to help make this easier for you. So if you're interested in contributing, supporting, getting smart guides, having more personal live broadcasts, and helping me pick the next video that I make, please hit that QR code, hit that link. $1, $5, $10, $20. It goes a really, really long way to allowing me to focus more and more on what we're doing here and help you more and more. So that's my little pitch for the YouTube membership. Anything I left out, Frank?
No, I just wanted to say that you obviously listen to the members and that you welcome that, and it gives you a new challenge. Case in point today in numbers, right? You've been talking about it for weeks. Like, I'm going to be putting this thing together for Manny, and I got to sit down. I got to learn this. I got to learn that. You have listened to members over and over again, so I commend you.
And what I'll say here, and this is an important piece, is it's not that I don't listen to viewers of my YouTube videos, because I do. I read as many of the comments as I can. There's a lot of them, so I do my best to stay on top of it. But I'm always responding to, listening to, and paying attention to members because they literally pop up more on my screen because of the membership. So it makes it super, super, super easy. Awesome.
Great.
Let's get back into things.
And no, we're not brothers. Somebody just asked if we were brothers. We are in a sense, but not biologically.
Bald brothers.
Bald brothers.
All right, so here we are back in numbers. This time I'm going to open up an existing document. You might see phone numbers, email addresses, and other information when I show up here. Do not worry about it. This is sample data I downloaded from the internet, so it's nobody you or I know. It's just fake data. Come in here. All right. So here we can see all of the columns laid out. And again, if I scroll, you're going to see this thing goes on and on and on and on, meaning that if I pinch it down, it's easier for me to see the whole thing, but impossible for me to read it. So I've got to pinch out as I'm working with stuff. Don't be afraid of resizing your screen to make it work for you. It's important. You can see here that the first column, that's this column right, the first row, is used for titles. That is a very, very common practice because it makes it easy for you to organize what goes into each of the columns. So here you'll see we've got a column for full name or job title or department or business unit, etc. Remember that tapping on the letters at the top will allow you to make it smaller or make it bigger. Double tapping on it will, I said that and then I missed it, Frank. It's not going to let me do it without my pencil. Let's see if I can do it with the pencil. It's too hard. It's too hard for me to hit it with the way it's set up. But you can resize those things automatically. In general, it does its best to open it as wide as necessary for the data that's inside it. But periodically, you're going to have to just come in and make it the size you want, whether that's the columns or the rows. Let's talk a little bit about formatting here, and I'm going to come over to this age column that we've got right here. Now, in this age column, it's a bunch of numbers. If I wanted to sort my entire document, it's really, really easy to do. The first thing you want to do is you want to press on that circle in the upper left-hand corner to select everything. So right now the entire document is selected. Then I'm going to click on that little filter button up here and I'm going to go to sort. It asks whether I want to sort selected rows or the entire table. In this case, I want the entire table, and it prompts me to add a rule. Here I can choose any rule that I want. In this case, we are looking for column H because I wanted this sorted by age. And just like that, it's immediately sorted by age. You can see it here now. Instead of the way it looked before, it's now numerical. But if I wanted to sort it instead by, let's do it by the separate company that they're in. We're going to go to number D here. I'm going to select all, come into here. I'm going to edit that and delete it. And I'm going to add a new rule, and for this one I'm going to say column D. And immediately column D gets alphabetized. You can change, sort, or organize any way you want. Sometimes you need to do a double level of sorting. So I need to sort by the department they're in and then by their age. So I can click Add Rule. Let me figure out where age is again. I can click Add Rule, column H here. And now this will get sorted by both column D and column H, putting things into order within those two columns. So sorting is something you can do easily on any of them. We're going to talk about formatting now, and I'm going to select this chunk of text. Notice how I did that. It's a really easy thing to do. I'm going to click anywhere on the document, and then I'm going to use the little blue ball in the lower right-hand corner to just spread it out. I'm going to grab that whole chunk of things there. When you select a bunch of cells, you're going to get this pop-up window. The pop-up window will let you cut, copy, select, delete, or go to cell actions. In the bottom right corner, you're going to see this little lightning bolt with the cell word on the right of it. That is also cell action. So whether you click on the bottom right corner or on the pop-up menu, doesn't matter. It does the same thing. I'm going to click in the bottom right corner, and it pulls up a bunch of options for what I can do with these cells. Oh, I'm in the wrong place. My bad, my bad. Let me do that differently. Let me highlight this stuff. I don't want to go into cell actions. I want to go into format. Up at the top toolbar, we've got our format icon. I click on that. We've got certain things that are selected here. So let me move that over so we can see it all together. And here I can immediately bold everything that's there. I can make it a larger size. I can change the text color to any color that I want, just like that. I can do all sorts of things to change the way the cells look, or the format. The format is really important because in some cases, a particular column is numbers or currency or a percentage. Without being able to format that, everything looks like, in this case, this column looks like ages, because it is, but let's pretend for a moment that it's not ages, it's money. I'm going to click the format button and I'm going to change it to currency. Boom! Now it's got a dollar sign. If I click the little I next to currency, I could change that to any format I want. Maybe I want it to be in euros. I would put it in whatever the UK thing is for Manny, but I actually don't know what the UK dollar is. Shows my lack of knowledge. So we're going to leave it on US dollar here. In addition to those, you'll see all sorts of other ones. I can create percentages, date and times. I can create a pop-up menu. Pop-up menus are really helpful when you're filling out a spreadsheet and you've got a particular section that might only have two answers. Here in the gender column, I only need male or female. Wouldn't it be easier if that was a click and drag pop-up menu instead of something I had to type? Easy to do. You want to select all of the field that you want for that. That's a big field. All of that in there. We're going to go ahead and click on the format button. We're going to click on where it says pop-up menu, and look, it automatically selected male and female because those are the only two things that are there. And so once we've got that turned on, it's going to make it so that whenever I create something new here, I should show you guys how to add new rows and columns, so I'm going to do that now. In the bottom left corner, you'll notice that same hash mark we use to resize columns. You can use it to create blank cells. I wish that Excel did that. Excel just has an infinite stream of cells, so I'm always lost. So I love that you can just pull on this hash mark to either create or remove cells really easily. You can also do it on the right side here, same basic concept, just adds additional columns. So if I come in, notice that when I click on this section, I get to choose from a pop-up menu rather than having to do it manually. If you're building a spreadsheet and there's a set number of entries, for example, I have 4 different levels of membership in my MacWhisperer Academy, and as I'm organizing that data, I don't need to type it in. I just need a pop-up menu with those 4 options. That format button gives you infinite capability to really control how a particular cell, column, or row operates. Where am I at? All right, we're going to talk about sums. And sums, we're going to talk about formulas. One of the most important things there are 2 critical pieces for spreadsheets. The first one is sorting. You have to be able to rearrange your data in different ways. Maybe I want to sort by last name. Maybe I want to sort by title. Maybe I want to sort by how much money they've got. Maybe I want to sort by what country they're in. Thank you, Manny. I would have found it eventually. He's letting me know that it's the GBP pound sterling, and I actually did know that, but you know, not in the moment of being live. It was flustering. So when you are using a spreadsheet, the first most important thing is the ability to sort things. That's just critical. You just use it all the time. In fact, when someone says to me, I'm going to put this into a note, but it's got data like first name, last name, address, phone number, I'm always like, geez, if you want to sort that, notes aren't made for that. Spreadsheets are. But the other functionality of spreadsheets that is 100% critical is the capability to do the math for you. Remember, spreadsheets were built by accountants who didn't want to have to write things down on their ledgers. That's why it looks like a ledger. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to show you how to do a quick auto calculation. There's a couple of ways to do it. For this particular case, we're going to take our little money column that isn't actually money, but whatever, it looks like money now. I'm going to take my selector and I'm going to select that whole row of it. So we can see all of those are currently selected. Now is the moment where you go into cell actions. So I was a little ahead of myself. I'm going to do that now by clicking on the cell actions button in the bottom right. And you'll notice quick formulas right down at the bottom there. They've given you 6 of them: sum, the average, the minimum, the maximum, account, or product. I don't really know what product does. I didn't get that far, but I'm going to click the sum button. The sum is going to add all of those numbers up and put the total right underneath it. Let's see how much money we made today. Holy cow, we made $484, Frank. Great job. Easy to do that. It's simple to do those calculations. But sometimes you need a different kind of calculation. So I'm going to come in here and I'm actually going to go to the bottom here. When you are working with other calculations beyond the basics like the sum, what you're going to need to do is enter the formula keyboard. And I'm going to show you how to do that. We're going to start by pulling up our keyboard. Now in the upper right-hand corner, you're going to see a little symbol of an equals sign. or hash marks, whichever you want to call it. I think we're done with hash marks for the moment. I'm going to go ahead and click on that equal sign here. Of course, Bonnie, of course, product is the answer to a multiplication formula. It didn't, of course it is. Duh. I'm showing my ignorance, but it's really just because that wasn't my focus. I knew that. But thank you for reminding me. You're right on the money, Bonnie. Good call. And welcome, Bonnie. Nice to see you again. Here, I'm going to click this equals button that we see right here, and it's going to change what we see. This is going to allow me to use calculations up at the top here. And the way you do the calculations, you're going to start by clicking on the cell you want to use. I'm going to click on this male Caucasian cell here, and you'll notice that above the keyboard it added H157. That's column H, row 157. Now I'm going to say multiply by 484, and then if I'm done and click return, it will do that calculation automatically for me. We can see it up here, $29,524. There's also a ton of other calculations. Now, I don't want to go deep into the calculation rabbit hole because we could be here all day, and most people do sum or basic math. But when you're inside of the formula keyboard, there's a button in the upper left-hand corner that says FX. I'm going to click on that. These are pre-built functions for you separated by categories. So if you want to have a function that shows date and time, these are those functions. If you want a function that shows numeric information, here are some of those functions. If you want text functions can be really useful to take two cells and combine them, or one cell and split it up. Did you create a spreadsheet with first and last name in the same column by mistake? You can come in here and you can split that text using the proper formula. Did you put first and last name separate, but you want them combined? This one here called concatenate, which I'm never going to pronounce right, merges fields. So there's lots of options built in here for you to explore. If you're looking for formulas, there's two ways to do it. Well, there's three ways to do it. The first way to do it is to come in and do the basic math like you saw me do. Click on the cell you want, click on the function you want, click on the cell you want it to multiply by, and it's going to do it for you. The second way is to use this function section to look at pre-built calculations and the tools that are already here. They're going to look funny, right? They're like weird names because they came from Excel and from Microsoft. But if you click on the little I, it'll give you a little more information about it, helping you figure out when to use that function versus something else. The third way, which I had to do this week because I had a problem with an Excel with a numbers spreadsheet that I could not solve, go online. Ask Google exactly what you're trying to do. What is the formula to do this? And you can say with numbers or with Excel, and it will deliver you exactly what to put in this little formula line. So there's a lot of tools and a lot of capability that's built into spreadsheet / numbers, that's built into this functionality for you to do all sorts of things, whether it is, let's get that keyboard out of my way, whether it is sorting, organizing, calculating, sums, predictions, pop-up charts, and a ton of other features. Don't forget that format button up here because that's really where you're going to spend a lot of time when you first set up your spreadsheet. Once you've set it with the proper format, once this column is currency with the British pound, once this column is percentage, once this column is a pop-up menu, you won't need to go back to it much, but for sure it's going to help you get set up and get set up properly. Be aware that when you're dealing inside of the format section, there's 4 separate sections. Top left is the table, which again is going to color the table itself and make it, let's see if we got it. Yeah, didn't want to color it. Doesn't want to color it for me, Frank. Try it again. I don't know why it's not letting me do it, but at any rate, the table tab manages the tables. The cell tab manages specific cells. The format is a global format for a column or a row. And the Arrange tab is useful when you're adding graphics. Why would you add graphics? Well, a lot of people have used spreadsheets like this to create invoices. Let's take a look at our template section here, and let's come down into, where is the business one? Personal finance. I want the business one, Frank. Here it is. We'll use that one right there. This person used it to create an invoice. You might want to put your company logo on the invoice or other things like that. So when you're in the format section, of course, it's not going to play nice with me. Oh, we'll go back to my employee data. When you're in the format section, be aware that the arrange is about moving things forward or backwards or aligning them. You'll see the align and distribute section as well. It's more for graphics than for the text, but you can take Excel and you can make an absolutely gorgeous invoice template with your company logo and your photo on it and a little bit of information about you, and then have the table in the middle with all of the data. So there's a ton of options about how you can create and customize your spreadsheet. We'll come back in just a few moments. Let's hop back to the screen. Frank, I got one more lesson for us when we're done.
That's great. Excellent work. Why don't we?
I was challenged, Frank. Somebody said to me, "There's no way you can explain a spreadsheet program in under an hour." I think we've done all right.
I think you did really well because, as you had mentioned, there's a couple of rabbit holes you could have gone down, and you avoided that. So well done. Let's bring up the Smart Guide PDF for everybody.
Absolutely.
Another beauty. The creative team with your guidance has just been doing a terrific job, Dylan, to get more and more excited. And as you said, we're creating more and more of them on a weekly basis. So please, you can use the QR code to download this. There's a short URL you can use as well. Share it with your friends, family, let everybody know what we're doing here. They just keep getting better and better. We've got almost 20 pages on this one.
It's complicated. It's spreadsheets. You can't explain spreadsheets in 3 steps.
No, there's no shortcuts. I did want to also talk about, I'll put this URL in the chat as well. But people are asking about the difference in memberships. Our community is growing, and if there's one thing that we get, and you started to touch upon it before, is people are often confused about how many different ways they can work with you. So somebody had asked, let me bring up. Well, David was asking about how to find the Smart Guide library, but he is a YouTube member. He's not a MacWhisperer member. That's a little different.
I'm just going to go straight across the menu and give you the understanding of how you can work with us. And we'll talk about the Smart Guides in just a second. So first off, watch my YouTube videos. That's the bottom level. That's where we all start. You can watch my videos. You can comment on them. You can even send me an email about something you learned or a question you've got. I do my best to stay on top of it. We've grown a lot in the last 3 months, and I'm a little behind, but it's still my goal to read every comment and answer as many as I can. After you do that, there is the live broadcast and the YouTube membership, which gives you private live broadcasts, as well as we'll be giving you the Smart Guides shortly. We're not there yet. We're very close. I think by the end of the month, we'll have all the systems built. We're just a few steps away from it. The working with me as a YouTube member allows you to get shout outs on live broadcasts, allows me to see your comments at the top of my stream whenever I put out a video, will allow you access to the Smart Guides and the ability to help pick my next video. Moving up a level from that, we teach a class every week. It's called the MacWhisperer Academy, and the MacWhisperer Academy is a membership that costs $100 per month, and for that $100, you get 2 live 2-hour classes. And if you think what we did here is good, this is just a piece of it. The interaction, the depth that we go into, the way that we've structured our classes is that each class builds off the prior one. So in one of our class tracks right now, we're learning how to use all of our Apple devices, and we're right in the middle of understanding the Mac, all of the best tools. We have a class tomorrow. So if you are interested in exploring this and unsure if it's right for you, email Frank. Frank will give you an invite to our class tomorrow. It's 9 to 11 a.m. Pacific time. We also have 2 one-hour-long Q&A sessions twice a month. So each of those pieces is part of this membership that allows you to take what you're learning here and get to the next level. Marie's having trouble with the download accepting her email, probably because she's already a member. So let's make sure that we get her that separately. I had that question from somebody else yesterday too, so we'll be addressing that. We want you guys to be able to download them even if you're already in our mailing list. We're sorry about that glitch, Marie. We'll get it solved. In the work that I've been doing this work for 25 years, and what I've learned is that people can be taught anything with the right teacher and the right intention, but everything feels so overwhelming and complicated that people don't want to take the time to learn how to do it because they're so overwhelmed. Want to know what would fix that overwhelm? Knowing how to do it. Because you're overwhelmed because it takes you 37 steps to do something I'm doing in 2 steps. It takes you 4 hours to do something I'm doing in 5 minutes. I'd be overwhelmed too. Those of you that have 100,000 emails in your inbox, you're like, I'm so overwhelmed I can't even read my emails. Well, of course, you've got 100,000 emails. There are tools, systems, and ways of learning that I've perfected over 25 years of teaching. The MacWhisperer Academy is the way for you to finally get in front of the overwhelm, the frustration, the confusion, and the questions. Each of those separate products stack on each other. You can be a YouTube member and a MacWhisperer Academy member, or just be a MacWhisperer Academy member. But ideally, each piece provides something for you personally. What I mean by that is, if you're already a MacWhisperer Academy member, you've already got access to our smart guides. You don't need to be a YouTube member for that. But if you want to support me, if you want to help me pick videos, if you want to be a part of those live broadcasts, please continue to be a subscriber. Every way that you can work with us, we're here to help you as best as we can within that specific medium. So I think that hopefully explains the scale of the different pieces. And if anyone has questions about anything we talked about, please email Frank. Don't email me. No, I'm just kidding. You can email me too, but email Frank or email me. It's frank@themacwhisperer.com, dylan@themacwhisperer.com. Let us know how we can help. We're here for you, and every client of mine has said, I can't believe how much time you put in to make sure I knew what I was doing. And that's really the goal.
Yeah.
Kit, please make sure that Frank has your email address. We'll get that to you directly. Not sure why it's not coming in. Anytime anybody's got a problem, let us know, let Frank know.
Yeah.
And that's how you work with us. That's the big piece.
No, that's great. William, I hope that answers your question about why you're not showing up as a member here in YouTube, because you're one of our MacWhisperer Academy members. I love the classes because it touches what we're doing here, touches a little bit upon that, but the Zoom atmosphere, we're able to interact, right? Ask questions directly. We bring people up. They can speak to you specifically or us. A lot different, a lot more hands-on, and truly enjoyable.
Yeah, we'll jump into screen shares both on my device and the students' devices if necessary to make sure that you understand what we're talking about, because I'm not here for you to passively absorb information. I'm here to change how you use your technology so that you have more time to do what you want. It's that simple.
Yep.
Frank, let's hop back over. I want to wrap up. Go ahead.
I was just going to say this 30-day free is only available here on these lives. So if you're interested, take advantage. Send me an email if you want to attend tomorrow. I give out a few. I don't give out many because it becomes overloaded. But if you're interested in showing up tomorrow, send me an email. I'll get you an invite. Let's get the iPad back up. There we go.
You know, Manny asked about hiding and freezing rows, and 100% I learned that, and I don't remember where I did it. So let me see if I can find. Oh, there it is. Oh, that's not it. Manny, you and I will talk about that. I 100% figured it out, and in this moment, I just don't remember where it was. It was under some weird menu that I didn't expect. I'll try one other thing. No. So the freezing of rows and columns is 100% doable. I just don't remember where that button is, and I will look it up. Let's talk about the last piece here. Once you've got your spreadsheet, what are you going to do with it? Well, most people are going to do one of three things with it. They're going to share it, they're going to export it, or they're going to print it. And all three things can be done very, very easily by clicking on the share icon at the top of your screen here. First off, if you want to share it, click the share button, choose who or how you'd like to share it. Done. Easy. It will send this as a numbers document. So if you're sharing it with someone who is on Windows, don't do that. Follow the export steps I'm about to give you. If you want to print it, Clicking on the print button down here will open up a preview version of it, allowing you to kind of see how it's going to print. If you're going to do this, you should always take a quick look at it before you print it. Make sure it looks good. We can choose landscape view or portrait view very easily. There's some other options you also have within here under the settings section up here. And then you click the print button and it prints. Easy enough. And the third thing people do is exporting. What is the difference between saving and exporting? Well, saving saves it in the format it's currently in, which is numbers, which works great for us Apple users, but sucks for your grandma who only has Excel. Yes, grandmas have Excel. It happens. I've seen it. I'm sure some grandma has Excel. That was not a grandma joke. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it was not being ageist. If you want to export a document so that other people can read it, under the share button, you'll see this export and send option. Let's click on that. When you do that, it allows you to choose multiple formats. PDF is a standard format that cannot be edited, but looks just like it does on your screen. Excel can be opened by Microsoft Word, and CSV and TSV stand for comma separated values and tab separated values, which are super common spreadsheet formats that are universal. Excel can open CSV and TSV, so can Google Sheets, so can Apple Numbers, and many other spreadsheet programs. In fact, of all the languages that we save things in, CSV is the most flexible. Almost every program can export CSV and can import it, making it one of the most valuable ones. But when you're dealing with a spreadsheet, most people are going to choose PDF if it doesn't need to be edited, or Excel if it does. It'll prepare it. Click continue. And here it opens up the share screen, but this time it's sharing the exported version rather than sharing the numbers version, which again, is what needs to happen if you're using numbers in an environment where other people are using Excel. Okay. Last thing. Frank teased it earlier. One of the great things that Apple has done is creating easy collaboration. Now, most people are using Google Sheets and Google Docs for everything. If you've watched me at all, you know, I don't love Google. I think they're complicated. That's me talking. I think they make really simple things really complicated. And I understand the necessity of it. Bill found it for you, Manny. Table option at the top menu, win in numbers. Good job. Thank you for helping, Bill. You're a hero. Bill's our hero for the day. He gets the gold stars for today. Sorry, Manny. You got an iPad numbers video. Bill gets the gold star. So just to finish that up, when you're dealing with numbers, if you want to share and collaborate with somebody else in real time, it's super simple to do. Click your share button, and up here, make sure it says collaborate versus send a copy. And then share it to any Apple user, and they will be able to access that document, and the two of you can work on it in real time, just like when you use Google, without Google prying into what you're writing. Because you know they do that, right? They do. They totally do. Anyways, those are some of the best tools I know about for numbers on the iPad. And I thank you, Manny, for giving me an opportunity to learn something new. I absolutely love learning new things. I'm not that guy who's like, I know everything already. I love learning new things, even when I bitch and moan about it, which I kind of did. My wife and Frank both heard me yesterday. But I really loved jumping in and doing that. If anyone has other suggestions, please pop them in, let us know, give us other options as well. I see your question. You cannot export, Manny, you cannot export from Excel into Numbers natively, but you can open an Excel document through Numbers. And I actually was prepared for that question, and I have an Excel spreadsheet sitting on my desktop. Let me go find it. I'm going to click on my little sidebar. I'm going to go into my desktop here. God willing, it's right at the top, which I don't think it is. Sort by date. Nope, of course not, because that would be super helpful. I don't see it here. I will have to go take a quick look for it. But the bottom line is if you go in to grab any Excel document from your computer, from your iCloud, from your Dropbox, it will open it up in Numbers natively and create a Numbers version of it, which means that we don't have to export from Excel into Numbers. Just take the Excel document and let Numbers import it properly for you and convert it. And then you're done. And it's super easy to do. That's what I got. We're a little tight on time. We have time for some questions, Frank?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a couple that came from, I think those were answered. Marie asked a question earlier, but Kit answered it. I love the community when everybody chips in.
Phenomenal. You guys rock.
Yeah. There is one here. Can I import an Excel file into Numbers and how?
Yeah, that's what we're just talking about that.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's what we just talked about. So it's literally as simple as locate that document in your sidebar here and open it, and it will open up flawlessly. It does not care at all that it was created with Microsoft. Apple created both Numbers, Pages, and Keynote to automatically import the Microsoft documents cleanly. So you don't have to do anything special. It'll just open.
Did you show how to export a Numbers spreadsheet into Excel?
We did.
Okay.
We can go into that again for just a quick second here. Come into your share button up here. Go to export and send. Choose Excel there. Click export there. And then share it.
Yeah, sorry about that. Sometimes I get caught up in the chat and I'm missing what you're doing. But that's why we're playing off each other, right?
We're a team here. We're a team, Frank.
Did you want to maybe look at the templates a little bit?
Oh, it's a great point. So, I meant to. I'm going to do two things. I'm going to talk about templates for a second. I also want to talk about password protecting things. And I believe that when you come into, let's go ahead and export it again. So first off, let's talk about templates. You can create your own templates super easily. All you have to do is go to export and click where it says Numbers template. And immediately, whatever document you're working on, boom, added directly into the templates chooser for you to grab later. This makes it really helpful because usually I'll create a spreadsheet, I'll make it perfect, and then I'll need to use it again later. Different project, same spreadsheet. So it makes it really easy. Can you print it without the lines? That is a really good question. Let's find out. I'm going to come into print. I'm going to click on the settings here. It does not look like that's an option here, but I'll bet we can find a place where that is an option, where we can hide the lines and have it not print them, but apparently it's not built into the print setting. Sorry about that, William. Good question, though. Excellent. Thank you for that tip, Manny. I appreciate it.
So nice.
It's so nice to get they call them, what do they call them? Super thanks?
Yeah.
It's super awesome. It means that I actually clicked with somebody and that they got value out of what I did. It's great to have a couple of bucks. It's more important that I made an impact on you, Manny, and I really appreciate that and I respect it. How you do the borders is all about when you're inside of here. This is a question from William. He says, how do you do the borders? When you're coming in here, you're going into the format section, and that's where your border options and choices are, either for the specific cells, and you can see there's a cell border right there, or for the entire table, and you can make changes here that adjust the way it looks. There's a lot of different options within that format section. As I said, we can't hit everything. There's just not enough time. Play in the format section, play in the sort and filter section, and play in the export section, and you should answer most of those questions. And if you can't figure out an answer, let me know. Whatever doesn't get answered, Frank puts it into his email. He does his best to get back to everybody, and he asks me whatever I need to answer personally. So if there's a question you can't grab, it's easy to do. I see V's got a question. I'm going to take that real quickly. V is another MacWhisperer Academy member. He says, I have an Excel file on my old notebook that I also access my iPad as a numbers file. So what's great about that is that it converted it into a numbers file to share between your two devices. But be aware, the Excel document and the numbers document are not going to stay the same. When you open the Excel document, it becomes a numbers document, and then you're editing the numbers document. So be aware that the numbers document is more accurate than the source. It's changed. It's changed into a numbers format. And if you need it on Excel on your laptop, which you shouldn't because numbers also exists on the laptop, if you need it on Excel, you'll need to export it to get it there. This is great, guys. I was almost overwhelmed. It's one of the rare times where there's so much to know, and I'm like, how do I encapsulate that in less than an hour? And with your questions, your support, with Frank's assistance here, we did it. We're winners. We all get gold star. Gold stars all around. You get a gold star. William gets a gold. V gets a gold star. Frank gets a gold star. Manny gets 2. I'm sorry. It's his specific YouTube live topic, so he gets 2.
That's great. I think we're doing Apple Books next week.
Yeah, I want to talk about that for just a second. Will you take off our screen share for me, please?
Yeah, sure.
All right. If you love these smart guides that we're creating and you're trying to figure out where to put them, how to organize them, how to store them, one of your fellow members solved it for you. He recommended, I believe it was Mark, if I remember correctly, he recommended we use iBooks to sort and organize them. And I thought to myself, I don't use iBooks for anything. Why would I use it for that? And then I looked at smart guides inside of iBooks, and let me tell you, they look amazing. Go ahead and share the screen one more second here. I'm going to open up books here so you can see, even on my iPad, how it looks. Hopefully it will sync up properly. Oh,
looks good.
I'll leave it horizontal for you. So here is our calendar smart guide, completely inside of Apple Books. The reason I'm talking about Apple Books is very clear. My next YouTube video, which will be out on Saturday, covers how to use Apple Books and includes an Apple Books smart guide inside of the description because I want people to start saving these into Apple Books because I've never found an easier way to organize or sort PDFs like this, referential PDFs. If you put them in Notes, Notes is a clunky place for attachments. This is a great way to do it. You can pinch, you can spread, you can even mark it up. So if you find that one part that you really love and you want to go ahead, I got to use my pencil for that. And you want to go ahead and give it a little circle and give yourself a little arrow. You can do that right on our smart guides inside of Apple Books. So if you love Apple Books, if you've never heard of Apple Books, check out the YouTube video on Saturday and come back here on Thursday. We will be back at our normal time next week.
Yeah. It's going to be
back at our normal time of 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern.
Yep.
And we're going to be talking about Apple Books. I'm going to show everything I've learned in the last month about it and some really, really cool tricks. So that's what we've got for today. Frank, any last words from you?
No. I learned a lot today, as always. And next week, we will not be judging anybody by what we cover.
So I have one last thing. I'll just close this out by saying this. Technology was supposed to be easy. We've complicated it by not learning how to keep it simple. You are here watching these videos and learning from what we do because you want to make it simple again. And I'm here for you to help guide you down the path where technology starts to create time for you rather than stealing it away. I'm Dylan Stewart, the MacWhisperer. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much, Frank. As always, I could not do this without you. That's not just lip service. There's zero chance this would exist without Frank. So let's all have a great day. Say thank you to Frank. Thank you to the members. Thank you to the prospective members. Thank you for being here. And I'll see you next week.